Hello and welcome to Play the Game 4. I'm William Brougham, and on today's show we've got two very talented and special guests. We've got clay target shooter and land speed racer Gemma Dunn. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. And we've also got former rugby union international player Ben Evans.
Good to be here.
Who's now based in Sydney as a coach. First of all, Gemma, I want to ask you, tell us a bit about your sport.
So land speed racing is an old sort of hot rod style sport. We race out on salt flats in South Australia and Lake Ghana. And we race over 9 miles, but we have 3 timed miles, and you have to get up to speed by the second mile and hold it for 3 miles. Land speed racing it's something that it's very hard to explain to people, but when you're racing, it feels like you're driving on ice, but it's one of those strange feelings, sort of when you're flying in a plane where you are going extremely fast, but with the lack of depth perception and everything.
Huge adrenaline rush.
Yeah, huge adrenaline rush. It's over in 50 seconds and you don't even know what's happening half the time, and then it's over and then you sort of process it afterwards.
It's not the only adrenaline rush you get because you're also a clay target shooter.
Yes, I was the son my parents never really had, I think, in a way. But so I do clay target shooting, have represented Australia at multiple World Cup events, junior and senior. And I do Olympic traps, so where the targets fly out from the bunker away from you. Yeah. So they go at about 110 kilometres an hour, and you have 0.1 of a second between the time you pick it up to actually hitting the target. Otherwise, it gets out of range pretty quick.
So for the two sports, are you mixing with two very different types of people?
Yes, absolutely. Land speed racing, you have a very community, amateur motor racing sort of feel. It's not a professional sport, whereas with clay target shooting, a lot of these people that I am competing with, we have the common goal of trying to get to the Olympic Games. So it's very much a high performance sport. We are very structured like a high performance sport with the Sports Commission, and it's extremely tough in the fact that we can all be just as good as each other, but it can come down to the day, the way you see one target, and that one target can make an entire difference to your team selection at an event.
Let's see you in action. That's Gemma Dunn there, clay target shooter and land speed racer. What an amazing car.
Yeah, it's pretty spectacular. I'm very proud of my dad for building that, yeah.
And it's called Rosie.
Yeah.
And it's got an AC/DC connection. Can you tell us a bit about that?
So my dad and I have a really big affinity with AC/DC. It's something that we sort of did when I was little, is listen to them in the car. And so the previous car that we had was named Thunderstruck after an AC/DC song. And so Rosie sort of come about because with the engine that's in the car and the size of the car, there's a whole lot of engine compared to the size of the car. So we sort of just immediately thought, okay, well, the song Whole Lot of Rosie sort of captures that a little bit, keeps with the theme of the AC/DC, and so, yeah, the car's name's Rosie. Yeah.
What do you think so far have been the highlights of both the shooting and the land speed racing for you?
With land speed racing, becoming the fastest Australian woman is one one thing that I never really thought that I would aim to do, but as soon as I got into the sport and found out that it was easily achievable in the car that we have, that was my goal, is to just surpass the 202 mile an hour mark for the previous female, and within 4 runs I did 234 miles an hour, which is close to 385 kilometres an hour, and I was on my green peas when I did it. I wasn't fully licensed on the road.
And you're also a member of the prestigious 200 mile per hour club, aren't you?
Yeah, so to be a member of the 200 mile an hour club, you don't only have to go over 200 mile an hour, you have to set a record whilst doing so. So the records are class-based within the car. It doesn't matter whether you're man, woman, child, whoever, it's all about the car and what the car can do. So setting a record in that class is hard enough in itself. So you only get 1 hat. It's kind of like a bag of green with cricket. You only get 1 hat, and that is it. That is your recognition for the many hours spent
now with
on the car.
shooting, you went to Korea. Tell us.
Yeah, so I went to Korea World University Games in 2015. We, as a team, were the first Australian team members to win the medal for the entire uni team. I won bronze with Catherine Skinner and Indy Gladman, and that was pretty spectacular because that was just prior to Catherine winning her Rio 2016 gold medal. And my other major achievement within shooting was shooting a world qualifying score at the Nationals in Perth a couple of years ago, and then making it my first Open World Cup team. I was the only girl to shoot that score and the only girl to go to Cyprus World Cup. And I there beat the previous bronze medalist from the Rio Olympics in that event, my first Open World Cup. Yeah.
Congratulations, Gemma. Gemma, what are your interests outside the sports that you do?
Well, it's a tough one because at the moment I'm very engrossed in my world of sport.
They take up your life, don't they?
Yeah, it's and particularly going between the two. I mean, if I said I was just a clay target shooter, I would say my interest is land speed racing or vice versa. But at the moment, I'm just being a young person trying to establish myself within life and, you know, my place, and just trying to buy a house in Sydney, just simple things, you know. You spend so much time of your life dedicated to your sport and what's the next step and getting on the next plane that sometimes just getting back to reality and back to, okay, if I don't quite become so successful in what I want to do, what else have I got out there? So my real passion is starting to develop giving back to my sport as well, such as Ben. I am now a coaching and membership development manager within shooting, so I don't just try and compete. I now am trying to develop the grassroots through my own experiences as a young female within a very male-dominated sport. So that is a passion, and I work with other young shooters, up-and-coming people who don't quite know how to handle or find their position within the ranks and things like that as well. So that's what I do. I can't really escape it.
It's your life,
it follows me everywhere I go.
In the video we watched, we saw your father and your brother.
Yeah.
Do you think, particularly the land speed racing, it's brought your family closer together?
Oh, 100%. We are the fastest family out there, and something about that, I'm extremely proud of my dad for his skills in craftsmanship of the car. And my brother, he's in motor racing within drifting and things like that as well. So he's just expanded outside of that. And he's actually been asked to drive another gentleman's car who was a founding member of our association. So that sort of thing that people look to us as a family and see, oh, this is so cool, you know, like there's a young girl and her brother and her dad doing something together, a bit out of the ordinary. But
yes.
We do something together, and we go down to the workshop on a Tuesday night and build the car with pizza. Like, that is how we built the car, Tuesday night, pizza and workshops. So it was a fantastic thing for a family to do. My mum, my poor mum, she has to watch all of us fling ourselves down this racetrack, but she...
a sports widow.
Yes, so I feel so bad for her. She doesn't come to the start line to watch us get strapped in the car or anything, but it's just something about, you know, my dad, I do have my life, like my life is in his hands. Like, he gave me my life and it's in his hands, and I completely trust him. There's that level of trust that you just get on another level. So
I've got to ask you the killer question. Which of your two sports do you prefer?
Oh no, that's a horrible question.
I've got to ask it.
I don't. That's really tough, just because they're so different. In some ways, people could say they're both adrenaline-seeking, but I find shooting is incredibly calming. You have to have such a mental toughness to compete in clay target shooting. It is insane, and there's so many cross relations between the two in that regard. I like land speed racing because it's something different. It's a really good talking point. Not many people know about it. It's something that I'm trying to build awareness about. But out of the two, no, I can't separate them.
Too
They're
difficult.
yeah, it's way too difficult.
What are your hopes, Gemma, for the future?
So for the future, I want to, my focus at the moment is more on our land speed racing. We're trying to develop a good network of sponsors, and we are working on a cross partnership with another female racer, not in land speed racing. So we're trying to develop a women's only team. It's just brand new, but the sort of idea is being floated. And I just want to build awareness about our sport. You know, it's something that a lot of people can come and do, and it's a fantastic experience. So, and as a young female, I think it's important to get other young girls trying different things, you know, breaking out of that norm of the normal thing that you would generally pick as a sport.
I think it's awesome that you're kind of pioneering and kicking those doors open for sports that would be closed off to women.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, be a pioneer, be different, go and kick down more doors.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you're there kind of as the flag bearer, leading more women to get into, you know, the shooting or the racing, then so be it.
It's very important. You know, we can't be limited nowadays, and we're not limited. Well, we never were, but there is that perception that, you know, oh, there's so many blokes out here, like, I don't really know if I belong. You belong. Just make sure that you do you, and they'll accept you
Well,
no matter
best
what.
of luck.